What a headshot! What a head!
How's it, guys? This is Dayvy, FPL, and welcome back to the Fantasy Premier League video here on my channel. Now in this video, I'll be taking you through my team selection for the upcoming Game Week 1. So yes, that's right, the deadline must be fast approaching if I'm going to be dropping my final team selection. So hopefully your guys' drafts are also pretty finalized at the moment. Now don't worry if they're not, we still have a few hours and a few days left, and hopefully this video clarifies some talking points within your own team. So as always in these team selections, I'll be running through my own specific squad, reflecting on the fixtures, the captaincy, and more importantly, the player selections. Hopefully my draft isn't too bad and you guys don't roast me too much in the comments. But if you guys are interested to see how my team looks, sit back, relax, and let's get straight into it. Now before we go over the actual team, the boring reminders are going to be coming. First of all, I should remind you guys naturally about the deadline. It's not going to be on Saturday anymore, it's actually on Friday. A little bit of a switch up to how the season usually begins. Now you guys don't need a reminder though, all you need to have is my notifications on, either on Twitter or YouTube, as I'll be doing a deadline stream a few hours before the deadline, so that can be a reminder. Even if you guys have any questions about your own team, just drop by. I'll be all suited up for deadline day, so hopefully it's going to be an absolute banger. Now the second reminder is going to be about the membership. If you guys don't know, you can become a YouTube member and support me every month. And I've mentioned throughout my drafts this preseason that only my legend members will be getting my live transfers this season. So what that means, if I do a transfer midweek before a price rise or a price drop, I'll be notifying my legend members when I make that transfer on Discord as well as YouTube. Now I won't be blocking any of my content to paid members, so that transfer could be discussed in the transfer plan or confirmed in the team selection, but only my legend members will be getting the live notification when I do the move. So I just want to clarify that as I've been getting a few comments and questions about it, so hopefully that clears things up. Now the final talking point, whether you guys are a paid member or a free member, I would highly recommend joining the Discord server to continue the conversation, as throughout this season it's usually quite vibey in there. Now we do have kind of member only channels but also a lot of free channels, and if I'm not replying to your questions, another helpful FPL manager probably will over there. So as mentioned, highly recommend that you guys do go and join it, link in the description. But now let's get on to the actual team, what you guys have all been waiting for. Hopefully this team that you guys see on screen is the start of a top 10k finish, and that'll accompany the ranks on the top right hand side and take us to our 5th one. Now I always say this at the start of the season, what are your FPL aspirations? What's the rank that you guys want to get? Obviously all of us should be aiming for first, but what's your realistic happy rank? Mine's top 10k, but yours might be different. Now another important factor is going to be the 0.0 money in the bank. I've made literally no draft this preseason with money in the bank, and the draft always tastes a little bit sweeter when it's that 0.0. So just keep that in mind if you guys are building the draft. If you want to leave some money in the bank, then you'll have to make 1 or 2 downgrades on my team, but that's not a necessity. Now I'll be going through the kind of price points of the different players then over the fixtures, just because this is Game Week 1, but I'll be going through the team naturally from the bench to the forwards. So talking about that bench, you guys will see that I've gone very cheap, absolutely cheap here, the minimum, with 3 4.0s and 1 4.5. Now the goalkeeper at the moment is going to be the second goalkeeper. Now you guys can go for any 4.0 besides Turner. If you are going for Henderson, then you guys can go for Matthews at 4.0. But if Johnson stays at the club, he potentially could be the number 2. So I simply just have the Brentford second goalkeeper. Flecken made a few mistakes in preseason. There might be a slim chance that he doesn't start, but this goalkeeper's always going to stay on your bench. Now yes, I've gone for 2 4.0 defenders, a very risky strategy, but I do think both of them will play at the start of the season. So Barco from Brighton is probably one of the standout 4.0s at the moment. He should be nailed at fullback at the start of the season, and he's even on a few set pieces. Now my only regret at the moment is actually not starting him at this cheap price point. You guys will see shortly, he has a great fixture. Then Harwood Bellis for Southampton, not super confident of clean sheets, but the attacking threat is going to be there, but I'm hoping not to play him most game weeks. Then my 4.5 midfielder of choice is the Spurs new signing Bergville, and this is a complete punt. I'm not kind of guaranteeing minutes here, but when he does play, he plays in an attacking position. So at your 4.5s, you basically have the CDMs that are going to get you 2 or 3 points but are nailed, or you go for a more attacking player that doesn't have the expected minutes. But I've just been monitoring kind of Spurs preseason, and it seems like he might be an option, as he has been playing rather well in their preseason friendlies. But as mentioned, a pure punt here, I might be hoping that he starts, and maybe one game week if we get early team sheet news, I could simply just sub him in. But I'm not going to lie to you, nothing to get hyped about on this bench. It's the cheapest that you can get. So let's hope that our starting 11 makes up for this poor performance from our bench options. I spoke about the backup goalie for Crystal Palace, and that's because I've got Henderson in net. So at 4.5 million, I dropped my boy Anderson from my defenders, and therefore that makes space for Henderson. And I think at the moment there's a few kind of standard 4.5s. So I think either going for Henderson or Flecken is probably where I'm at the current moment, but I do like some Crystal Palace coverage. So the only annoying thing is that Johnson's still at the club, he could be the second choice, and he's 4.5 and I don't have enough money to afford him. But if he does leave, Matthews is a fine replacement, but I'm just a little bit cautious about locking myself into 3 Crystal Palace options, as I might want another attacker up front. So at the moment, I'll be rocking with the Brentford backup, but this might change. Maybe we get news of a 4.0 starting in game week 1. Now you guys can go for a more expensive goalkeeper. I'll discuss maybe a variation I could have gone for, but I generally like the value you get at 4.5. Now my back line is actually looking pretty strong, starting with the main man Trent Alexander-Arnold at 7.0. Liverpool have some great fixtures to start off this season. Now under slot, I'm just hoping they can keep more clean sheets than last season, as Trent naturally has that attacking threat. So the perfect combination of some assists and some goals and some clean sheets will hopefully make the 7.0 man quite affordable. He's someone that I didn't start my drafts with but have ended with and seems almost essential in my team. Now I'll be sticking with Guardiola, the Man City almost left back, left winger. Just kind of depends on what formation Pep's going to play, but Guardiola out of position is great value for money. Even if he doesn't play out of position, even if he's just kind of a more reserved, inverted fullback, I still like him at this price point with those Man City fixtures. Now it is still a little bit of a 50-50 between him and Gabriel at the moment, and if you guys watch my Game Week Ultimate Guide, that clean sheet threat of Arsenal in Game Week 1 is going to be major. But as mentioned, still prefer the Man City fixtures over the next few compared to Arsenal, but a bit worried about potential rotation with this poor bench. Now the final option, keeping the dream alive of the fullbacks, it's going to be Pedro Porro at 5.5 million. Now the stats love him, he seems to have some okay fixtures of the best in the world, but had a great preseason and was super attacking. I just have to remember I don't own Pedro Porro for the clean sheets, I own him for the attacking threat, so let's hope that comes true in the opening few game weeks. Now the one variation already that I'm going to be talking about is going to be who would you guys go for, Henderson plus Pedro Porro or Raya plus Anderson. That combination comes in at the same price. I think Pedro Porro obviously offers the more attacking threat, and Henderson in goal could get a few save points, but Raya plus Anderson also looks pretty strong. Just one of the variations I was looking at when I was making this team. We'll be interested to see what you guys think. So the defense looks absolutely stacked. I think if you guys were to pick your top 3 defenders, it would look very similar to this. So let's hope they actually get me some FPL points. Now the midfield department has had a little bit of a shake-up. The first player stayed consistent from my final draft, and that's Bukayo Saka from Arsenal. Now regrettably, no Salah in this draft. As mentioned in my ultimate guide, it's quite hard when you compare Saka plus Trent to someone like Salah plus a 4.5. And because I'm not looking at captain Salah in game week 1, I went for Saka. So let's see how Liverpool kind of perform and Salah overall under the new manager, and if Saka can actually match him at a cheaper price point. I'm not super confident about that, to be honest. I think Salah will definitely outperform him. Without captaining him, I'd rather go for the better value over a split team. Now another player that's been in my team for quite a while is going to be Eze from Crystal Palace, but there have been some rumors of Man City potentially looking at signing him. Now would that be a good thing or a bad thing? I probably would say a bad thing with just how much kind of Pep rotates. So I hope that he actually stays at Crystal Palace, and these rumors are worrying me a little bit. So what I could do is downgrade Eze to another option or upgrade him. Let's see how those rumors progress till the game week 1 deadline. The last thing you kind of want is Eze not to play the first game or the second game, because Crystal Palace are keeping him rested for that Man City transfer. So let's see what takes place over the next few days. But if Eze does stay at Crystal Palace, which I hope so, he has great stats, the fixture's also okay from an attacking point of view, and if they can start the season like they ended last season, he'll be on red hot form. Now Nkunku at 6.5 million is a mainstay in most people's teams. Seems like he has the potential to be great value. Now the key word there is potential, because no one kind of knows how that Chelsea lineup is going to be, as they're literally signing every player under the sun. I mean, they're rumored to sign Osimhen, which will completely change that front line, and that does worry me about Nkunku slightly. So there's no guarantee with him, but if he does get good minutes in that Chelsea side, I believe he's worth the price tag, and will probably be the most underpriced player in the game. But I won't lie to you, I've considered maybe going for a Leon Bailey that's more secure, as they do come in at the same price point. But I guess let's see what happens. I could always bench him in game week 1 and play someone like a Barco to Everton, as they are facing the mighty Man City at home. Now my final midfielder is where the shakeup has happened. If you guys do recall, I had Smith Rowe here at 5.5, but I've gone for a super cheap bench to afford Diego Jota. So yes, I wanted some Liverpool coverage. As a Liverpool fan, I couldn't watch my team without some attacking coverage, and I honestly think Jota could start this season with a bang. So it comes in quite expensive at 7.5 million, but if he's going to be nailed at the centre forward position for at least the opening few games, he's absolutely worth that price tag. Now this is a risk though. With Darwin in the wings there could be some rotation, and with his injury record, Jota's not the most secure player. But still, I think it's the FOMO of not going for Mo Salah. I wanted some Liverpool coverage, and that's why I'm willing to take the risk. But I do think with that Jota upgrade, the team is looking mighty nice. Let's hope he gets guaranteed minutes at the start of the season though. Now front line is going to start off pretty template. The one player Erling Haaland hasn't left any of my drafts, even at 15.0. And even though I'm not going to captain him game week 1, from game week 2 onwards, basically the perma captain. Now he is quite expensive, but if you guys want to captain an expensive option, they're definitely worth it. And Man City have some great fixtures to start off the season. So without Salah, I have to go for Erling Haaland. I want a number 1 captaincy option, and he definitely fits that kind of mold. Then the next option as well was actually my captain for game week 1. It's Isaac from Newcastle. Now I spoke about my logic in the ultimate guide of going for Isaac. It's basically that he's the main focal point in a team that's projected to score a few goals. Now I think it might be quite close between him, Saka and Haaland, my own team. And then if you guys do own Salah, I would definitely captain him. But obviously I don't, and therefore Isaac might be second best, but that fixture just seems like it's going to have a bunch of goals in it. So in the comments down below, you guys let me know who's your captain for the upcoming game week. I think the camps will actually be quite split, which is always fun. Now my final forward, you guys might have worked out the price point if you're quick with your maths, but I am left with 6.0 in the bank. So did I go for Muniz, did I go for Chris Wood, or did I go for someone completely different? It's going to be the Fulham man up front. Now there might be a slim chance of early team sheet news as Fulham are taking on United as the first game of game week 1, taking place on Friday evening. I just want a piece of that Fulham attack with those lovely fixtures, and I'm just hoping that he gets good minutes at that centre forward position. Now what you guys will notice from our final draft is I've dropped Dom Solanke from this forward position, but I've done this to afford Jota in my midfield department. So would you guys prefer Smith Rowe and Solanke or Jota and Muniz? For me it was the latter quite comfortably. I just have some worries about Solanke. He has a great first fixture, but then from game week 2 to 4 it doesn't look that strong. So if he doesn't start game week 1, you pretty much lost all your appeal. So that's why I dropped him down, went for more of a punt on Jota than Solanke, and is hoping that Muniz gets good minutes for Fulham. So I do think that combination does look better on paper than the Solanke Smith Rowe one, but that one did have an extra 0.5 to spend on a better bench. But you guys can let me know what you think about this combination as well as the entire team. As you'll see, the starting 11 is now complete, and I actually think it looks pretty good. Now I'm going to switch over to the fixtures as this is a team selection. There are a few away games. I probably would have preferred a few more home ones, but that just means game week 2, the team is going to look even better. Now in terms of potential rotation, as mentioned, I could always start a Barco over someone like an Nkunku. That's something that I have been considering. If we do get news that Bergville is going to be starting for Spurs, might even start him over Nkunku, but I doubt we get that news. So for me, the only concern at the moment is should I start Barco over someone like an Nkunku, might even start him over a Guardiola with that Chelsea game, but the team doesn't look too bad with the fixtures. As mentioned, Southampton at home is going to be my captaincy fixture. Will be interesting to see how Southampton kind of adapt to the Premier League as they are quite attacking, and let's see how Isaac performs. But you guys let me know what you think about this team. Also drop your own drafts down below. Always like to see what you guys are rocking with. Now let's just go back to the actual price points and talk about some variations that I could potentially do, and you guys can suggest your own changes in the comments down below. So the first big change, as mentioned, was Dom Solanke out and Muniz plus Jota in. I think the combination I've gone for with the Liverpool coverage does look better, but I guess I go for the cheaper João Pedro up front and then a more expensive midfielder. Someone like an Anthony Gordon at 7.5 could be an alternative to Jota, and he might be slightly more nailed. João Pedro at the moment is super popular. That'll also give me some money to upgrade my bench. I just really don't like those first 3 fixtures. Another variation is downgrading Pedro Porro to a 4.5, and then I could actually go for some midfielder rotation, upgrading Bergville to a Rodgers or even a 5.5. If I do go for João Pedro, then I could just rotate my 5th midfielder with him, but that does lock a bit of value up in my bench. Then obviously I could always go for Salah if I want to captain him. I could then just drop Trent to a 4.5, but currently favoring the split combination. I do think this team is actually pretty settled. Hopefully your guys' team is also settled, and looking forward to seeing what you guys have come game week 1. Hopefully I see you guys in the deadline stream 1 hour before the deadline. I will be releasing another video tomorrow to cover all your final questions, so if you guys have any talking points you want me to cover, drop them down below on my Discord server. Super amped though for the season to start, getting excited, and hopefully you guys are as well. But this is basically going to wrap up the video, guys. Hope you guys did enjoy it. Please don't forget to like if you did and subscribe if you have subscribed yet. Some content still happening before that Friday night deadline, so hopefully I'll see you guys there. But for the time being, I'm signing off. This has been Dayvy FPL, and I'm out. Cheers, bye.